Welcome to the OVWP podcast, the unofficial podcast of Ohio Valley Wrestling. My name is Jack Minogue. I'm joined today, as always, by Brian Hines. And
how's
Brian,
it going?
How are you doing, Brian?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing well. It is not uncommon for us to have guests, but this is the first time that we've had a guest return, and the first time we've had a guest on our weekly recap podcast. Today, our guest is Luke Kurtis, certified Luke Kurtis.
What's up, everybody?
How are you?
2 for 2. The first time was a success. This time is going to be even better. So
we're very glad to have you back today, man.
no, I'm happy to be here.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah,
well,
absolutely.
You'll be able to definitely give us a little bit more insight, into the weekly show and some of these competitors, because you know them all very, very well.
Yeah, I do have a good read on the locker room and kind of what's going on. So I'm looking forward to it. I watch everybody's matches every week, so I know what's going on.
Malachi, could I get a little bit more in my headphones before we jump into our recap of the OVW 1277, now called OVW Rise? The weekly show is now called OVW Rise.
Yep, Certified Rise.
We'll knock out a couple of headlines. We want to remind you guys that we have interviews and special content every Thursday in the feed, and for the podcast feed, and every Thursday and Saturday on YouTube. So if you guys want to stop by any of our social medias and find those, we would appreciate it. And I guess here at the top of the hour, or the top of the show here, big thing from OVW this past week is that there's going to be season passes available for $750 for an entire year for 2 tickets a week, general admission, and $400 for single seats for every week in 2024.
Wow. Okay.
That's a big, big deal to have that amount of confidence that you could sell years in a row at one time. And Luke, you know this. The crowd has been better than ever in OVW over the past little bit.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's definitely a good concept. I mean, I know they're not looking to sell like hundreds of season passes,
right,
but we do have some committed fans that come every week and like to have their spot. So I guess it's more for people like that, probably. If they can get a handful of people to get season passes,
right,
it's already going to be beneficial for them.
And I think this also opens it up to things like businesses and offices and stuff like that. OVW kind of getting to that same level that you would see like minor league baseball or college basketball. We have customers coming into town. Let's take them to OVW. Yeah. We have a reserved seat there every week. I think that that's a really cool thing to be opened up for fans, opened up as an option for Davis Arena.
Yeah, absolutely.
What other things do you think OVW could do in the future, Luke, from your perspective, backstage perspective, wrestler's perspective, to kind of keep the momentum going, getting fans in week and week out?
Oh, man. I mean, I think there's a lot of different things that can be done. I don't really know, man. I mean, we just got to keep putting on good shows, and they got to continue to bring in new talent and have compelling storylines. And at the end of the day, it's just, working towards the next opportunity. Companies probably work the same way as like an individual would. And the fact that fame isn't really equal to anything. Mm-hmm. Fame is just something that gets you opportunities, and opportunities are where you gain money to have more fame. Especially to get a better opportunity to get more money. So like OVW had the Netflix series.
Right.
And it got some fame, and then it got some more money. So now it's like, what is OVW's next opportunity going to be? What is going to be the next thing that they do to kind of try to, they should, I think that the canvas should say OVW.
Oh, yeah. The ring looks better than ever. I think that something like that like pure branding, definitely like a next step kind of legitimizes it.
Yeah, there's a lot of different things, but yeah, the company just has to keep like growing and putting on compelling storylines and bringing in good talent. So,
looking for that next opportunity to expand a little bit more. We'll jump into all of the action from OVW Rise 1277 that originally broadcast from Davis Arena on February 1st, right after this.
Hey folks, Tiny Brian here with you, and joining me today is Certified Luke Kurtis. Luke, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on, dude?
Doing all right. Luke, I want to tell you about something that you may not have heard of. It's a podcast, and it's called Bluegrass Homefront. Now, I know you're a Florida boy yourself, right?
But yeah, that's right.
Living here in Kentucky right now, I'm sure you've discovered that there's some weird stories and things going around here in Florida. I know that the Florida man is the internet meme, but there's weird Kentucky things going on here too, right?
Yep. And I'm from down south in Florida, so closer to the Everglades. So
Where
it's
the
a
Florida
similar
man stuff.
feel. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
there's
what-
all kinds of weird stuff down there.
Oh yeah.
So the Bluegrass Homefront podcast provides all kinds of stories about Kentucky people and events, and also music. And it happened to star me and my all of our bosses, Victor. Well, not your boss, but all the rest of us as bosses, Victor. So just wanted to let you know that you can find that wherever you get your podcasts, Luke, and at bluegrasshomefront.com.
Yeah, check them out. Bluegrass Homefront, certified.
All right, and now back to the OVW podcast.
So at the top of the pre-show this week was a little bit special for me. I was completely surprised, not surprised at the same time. Ragnar the Ruthless was the first contestant announced, and then I was at the concession stand getting a slice of Wick's pizza, and I heard that the second the second competitor was from Cincinnati, Ohio, and I looked, and lo and behold, it was the exception, Dalton Mackenzie. That hit for me because, one, I've known Dalton for a long time. We used to work together a long time ago. And two, early on in this podcast, I said that I suspected sooner rather than later he would be joining OVW, and I was pleasantly surprised to see him in action on Thursday night in the very first match. He looked great out there. He had that Cincinnati Bengals themed singlet, which I'm not surprised. He's been a Bengals fan for years and years. And he looked great out there, but unfortunately he didn't get the win this time around, and Ragnar came out on top. But I'm glad to see him in OVW. Congratulations, Dalton, and congratulations on that baby girl that you and your lady just had.
Yeah, congratulations, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I know Dalton. Dalton's a cool guy. Great attitude. Looks great. I thought he did good. Yeah, he didn't win the match, but he beat the hell out of Ragnar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's got a decent feel for TV. He got to find the hard cam a little more, but he definitely has the look and the ability. So hopefully he keeps coming back because clearly they want to use him for something. And Ragnar needs to fight back a little more. So
Ragnar's kind of week in and week out been very, very prominently featured on the pre-show.
he has, yeah.
Yes.
And he's been climbing and he's been getting more comfortable with it too. That would just be my only advice. It's like you can't take a beating for 7 minutes. I mean, that's a little boring.
Right.
Yeah.
Fans
Right.
want to see some fight back, some life,
back and forth.
And I do think that Ragnar, when you kind of, fashion yourself after like a Viking or something like that, you should probably be whooping ass.
I agree.
Right.
What is it? It's ruthless.
Ruthless.
Yes.
Ragnar
Exactly.
the Ruthless.
So
Not certified.
No.
All right, we're going to actually do this all night. Are either one of these competitors certified?
Oh man, no, we're not gonna do that.
The answer is
I can't say no to everybody.
Right. So, bout 2 of the pre-show, Bad Country, Andrew Williams versus Steve Michaels. Haven't seen Steve Michaels around in a little bit. I'm glad to see him back. Very prominently featured, I think, back when Legion of Doom was going on. Or Legacy of Brutality. What did I say? Legion of Doom.
Yeah. Obviously, Andrew had a tall task ahead of him. Even though Steve's not around that much, Steve has a lot of history with the LOB and OVW in general.
OVW
and
in
he's
general, for sure.
Massive, and I think you could tell. Also kind of similar to Ragnar. Andrew comes out, good personality, things like that. But guys got to move out of the corner a little bit. You could tell when somebody looks a little scared when they just kind of stand in the corner. Take control of the ring. Look more confident when you're out there. And Andrew's doing great. His gear got to get a little better.
Yeah.
I can't stand the sweat stain on the back of his white beater. It's great white beater. And sunglasses are cool to a certain extent. Me personally, I feel like the windows are the eyes to the soul. So
Yeah.
that's where you really convey the emotion through. And he's coming out here. He's got great personality, great fire, but you can't see the crazy in his eyes. So how's he gonna take on a guy like Steve Michaels? How's he gonna make it to where he looks like a threat when he can't even he got to do something.
Yeah.
You know,
I thought that when I went back to watch this match, it's like the size difference between the two. It's like he's really going to have to like put out some serious offense to kind of
yes, and you can tell like the experience. There's a big experience difference here. You know, Andrew's still finding himself, and Steve's already been wrestling for a very long time. So you know, it takes time.
Yeah, the presence, the difference in presence when you just look at the two of them on camera is kind of obvious. But that's like one of the great things about these pre-shows is gives guys an opportunity to figure some things out, and then if they don't figure it out, it leaves open a door for someone else to walk into the pre-show.
You know, you have the opportunity to see yourself every week, like on a television. So, you know, it's like I personally watch.
How important is that?
It is important. It's extremely important. That's one of the reasons why I moved to OVW. You know, because of the television. Because, albeit it's not WWE, it's like the same concept. So you know, you're practicing on that. So I look at myself in the ring when I watch my matches back, and you know, every single wrestler knows whether they look good, whether they don't look good, whether the stuff they're doing looks good, whether it doesn't. Nobody needs to tell you like that's not good.
Right.
You know, you don't look good. Everybody knows. Like that's just a fact.
Well, and there's not a lot of independent wrestling that has as extensive of a I guess setup as OVW does, where you're getting 5 different camera shots, you're getting a hard camera, you're getting a roving camera,
and a weekly show with an audience, you know, a built-in audience. So
what is there anything that you think you could tell us about maybe the upcoming shows at OVW? We've heard some rumors that OVW is going to get some more content. I don't know if it's going to be broadcast or if it's just going to be on YouTube. Do you know anything about that?
No, I don't really.
You'll be a part of it either way, I'm sure.
I'm sure I will, yeah. But I'm not sure exactly what they want to do yet. I know they want to try to do additional things, but I think that's just still part of, like, feeling out.
Steve Michael. Right, absolutely. A lot of growth in a short amount of time.
Yeah, when you're dealing with a company with, like, you know, 50 talent and all the other people that they have on payroll helping with things, like, things don't, like, happen overnight.
Right.
You know?
And Steve Michaels ends up taking the victory of Bad Country Andrew Willens there. About 3 of the pre-show, Brian Hines was between Angelica Risk and Arie Alexander.
Yes, that was the third dark match or the pre-show match of the evening. Angelica Risk looked sharp in the ring.
I really like this new kind of. I like this new ring gear. The jacket and the frills for Arie Alexander. I like that a lot. But Angelica Risk has been featured more and more prominently, I guess,
since
in the weekly
Rumble.
show.
Yeah, since the Rumble.
Yeah.
And she kind of has like a bulldog type thing going on.
Yeah, I feel like at some point she's going to end up in the Bad Girls Club.
I could see that. I could definitely see that.
I know how Leila recruits. I feel like she's gonna end up with them. But you know, she's been doing a lot of the pre-show. They definitely are going to use Angelica on TV if she keeps coming back. They're just probably waiting for, you know, somewhere to insert her.
Right,
you know?
right.
The television has only so many spots for people, and like with the angles that are happening, like so much of that time is ate up.
Right.
Multiple women's things or the Bad Girls Club, like they take up a lot of TV time. So people just got to find their way in.
And OVW television, for what it's worth, is jam-packed every week.
Yes.
Like, there's not really anything that feels like it could go or needs to go or anything like that, even though it's maybe some things aren't always my favorite.
Yes,
everything is told very concisely. Like, it is really, really hard to find a place where you can pick something out and replace it with something else.
Exactly.
In the way that OVW weekly television is, which is a big compliment.
Yeah, and that's why the pre-show has become, you know, prevalent, because there's so many people now that are coming in or want to come in. Like, this has become like a necessary step, you know.
And it's great to be able to access it so easily on the, rewatch it on YouTube or whatever, or watch it live as it's happening, because up until very recently, that wasn't an option.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I came to OVW my first time, like, they were doing dark matches, but, like, I had 2 matches on TV, you know, and one was a title match. So, like, the company's changed a lot. Like, that ain't happening now. Like,
Right. Because there's just so much more talent around.
Yeah. And you know, stories are developed, and there's, you know, this is a drama, you know. So you need to understand who these characters are and who these wrestlers are. Fans don't want to come into OVW and see somebody brand new in a prominent spot on TV that they're not familiar with.
Right.
You know, it's like your favorite sitcom. If you turn it on and one of the characters had completely changed, you'd be like, what happened? You know, it's identifiable characters, you know, that behave the same way week in and week out.
Well,
and we have those.
There's also, too, something that exists in wrestling everywhere, but is an OVW in this, like, massive degree that I've not even seen at a lot of the other quote-unquote bigger promotions, is, like, the fans are very, very dedicated to OVW.
Because we earn these fans.
Yeah.
You know, that's the difference between us and any other promotion. Like, you know, maybe not any other promotion. GCW is very similar in that regard. But, like, you know, all of the OVW fans, they come to OVW because of us. You could bring out WWE talent. You could bring out big-name talent, and the crowd doesn't react the same way.
No.
You know?
No.
Like, I'm the star at OVW.
Right.
Like, they see people come in and out all the time. You have to prove to these fans over time.
And they're smart. Like, a lot of these fans are very smart and know
our product.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So Bout 1, regular show here. I guess we'll go ahead and mention how Angelica Risk takes the win over Arie Alexander.
And that was a big win, you know, because Arie's been at OVW for a while. She's established.
Yeah.
So it's a good win for her, you know.
I say week in and week out on here, I love, like, Arie Alexander. I think she's criminally underrated.
Yeah, no, she's very good.
Speaking of criminally underrated, Shalonce Royale is in our next match. Another person that I feel like every single time I watch out there, there's things I would change about her presentation. I'm not crazy about, like, comedy stuff all the time, but I think as far as wrestling, I think she's, like, almost as good as it gets in ring.
She's definitely the smoothest female worker on the OVW roster, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't think Shalonce is underrated, you know, only because, like, everybody knows how good she is, and they always say that.
Right.
You know.
Do you think that sometimes...
Do you think I'm underrated?
No. Okay.
It's like, why am I not signed? They're like, why is Shalonce not signed? You know what I'm saying? Like, people know how talented she is.
Sure. Do you think that sometimes, like, fans we're just a little hung up on, like, our opinion on things, and not, like, we don't see it, like, we like, and I'm being 100% honest, because this is a question that I think about all the time when I sit down and talk with wrestlers, is like, do we actually know anything?
No. No, but that's fine, and that's the great part about it.
Yeah.
Like, you're not too caught up in what you think, and it is your job to think. That's what makes the business go, because people have an opinion on it. But at the end of the day, if you don't do this, you don't know.
Right.
You know, like, there's secrets in wrestling. You know, when I got in wrestling, the business seems so exposed, but there's very intricate things that you only learn, like, through time. There's things that I know in wrestling that people that have maybe been wrestling longer than me won't know, because maybe I've earned trust with an Al Snow, and he's told me some shit here and there, or maybe Doug Basham, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, there's things, like the things that, like, a Triple H could tell you, or Shawn Michaels, like, that would just make your brain click. Like, that's wrestling. It's all information. You know, the most valuable thing you can get in wrestling is knowledge. 100%. For somebody to tell you, hey, kid, this is how it works. Because this is a competitive business about money. So people are not just going to give away the secrets of professional wrestling. They have to be willing to give up what they do, what works for them, what they've learned throughout their years of experience, how they make money. You know, that's what it is. You know, so, like, at the end of the day, like, as wrestlers don't even know what's going on half the time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So let alone the fans, really, it's just a formula. It's just like an opinion. You know,
Right.
That's it.
Right.
Just an opinion. It's not truth to what's, like, actually happening. A lot of the time.
Yeah. It sometimes.
Same thing as watching, like, any television show, man. Anything.
Right.
You don't know what's going on. You don't know what's happening in The Bachelor. You don't know what's happening on Survivor. You don't know what's happening on the news. You know, this is television. It's entertainment.
I can only believe what I'm shown.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep. But you should talk about it, and you should have an opinion, because that's what, you know, that drives everything. You know, a fan's opinion, you know, if something's talked about enough in the news, the story can be changed the next day, you know, to fit that story. So it's good to have people engage and talk about things and formulate opinions, because that creates ideas too and sparks conversation and controversy, and it's all important, you know.
We don't always have to take what we're given, but, like, most of the time, maybe we probably just should. I don't know. I just think it's such a funny place for me as a person who can't even, like, tie their shoes correctly, that I come on here week in, week out and say, well, this is the way it should be, or this is, I can't fall on my back. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but this is something that is based on opinion.
Yeah.
You know, wrestling is like an art. This is like subjective.
Yeah.
You know, this is not like fact.
Right.
Or did I say that the right way?
No, you
Yeah,
did.
I know what you're saying.
Right?
Absolutely.
This is subjective.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
This is like up to people's opinion. This is not like a job where it's like, this is this way. This is open to interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
You can like it. You cannot like it. You can feel this way. You can feel that way. There's so many possibilities for you to how you can feel about a wrestling match.
And I guess it all comes back to that old adage in wrestling is the worst thing for us to do as fans would be to not react at all.
Agreed. There you go. That's perfect. That's a perfect way to look at it.
Uh,
And like also, one more thing I'll say about that.
No.
Even as talent, we get too caught up in it and thinking that it's you never know the big picture, man. You know, you never know what's going to happen next. Something might happen today, this week on television, but in 3 months, it's all going to turn back around in my favor in the biggest way possible.
Yeah.
But right now, today, I'm like, oh, I don't like this. Like, that's just not what this is.
Well, I mean, even
You know, like down to the root of this. This is a week to week story.
Right.
You know, with evolving characters and evolving stories. Things can change at any moment. You know.
Yeah, like this past week, I'd almost completely forgotten about the three masked men from the last pay-per-view, and then lo and behold, here they are. They show up yet again right before the next pay-per-view.
And do you think that they will be here this Thursday?
I don't know.
I'd say that there's a fairly decent chance.
I would think they will.
I
be.
would hope so.
If they were there last Thursday,
They came in and tried to beat me up last week, so I think they're going to be here.
yeah,
Right?
I would think so.
So this is a part of the story. You know, I didn't know they were going to be there either.
I think that something that you kind
That's
of
just the way it happens, you know?
right.
Like,
I think something that you kind of touched on, where something can happen one week and it changes the trajectory of the next, you know, however long, is like maybe something that what happened with Manny Domingo when he kind of became Juta Pecos.
Yeah.
He's in our next match, teaming with Maximo Suave against the Fallen, which is now just the Nephlum and ZDP. That was one thing he did.
We got to talk about the ladies, though.
Oh, Sophia Rose and Lady Bird. They're the kind of the new shiny toy tag team in the women's division.
They're phenomenal, right?
They are.
Wouldn't
They
you
are.
say?
That's a win over Shalonce and Guess 2 weeks in a row, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it is. Last week would have been when Shalonce was teaming with Arie in the pre-show.
Yeah, they look good together. I like Sophia. And
I really like that I really like their presentation.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are kind of the antithesis of the Bad Girls Club.
Exactly. I feel like it's going that way.
Yeah.
Lady Bird reminds me of like she has like this feel like I feel like Mickie James has when she was at OVW. Just very easy to like.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Like as soon as she started getting in the ring and doing stuff, the crowd was popping right away. Boom, 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 boom. I was like, they love her.
Well, and they
smiling and the holds, you know.
very obviously like all American, kind of like easy to get along with. Like, oh, that's the person I wish my daughter could be, or I wish that my son would date. Like, that's the kind of the just like very easy to agree with the team of Sophia Rose and Lady Bird. And 2 wins in a row, 2 weeks in a row.
That's right.
We see also, to kind of touch on other things that are happening in the women's division, Maria tells Al that Haley was run off the road. Just outside of the door, we see the Bad Girls Club laughing about Haley's potential injury. Typical Bad Girls Club stuff here. I know that maybe we'll leave Luke out of this conversation.
I can talk about it.
You can talk about.
Go ahead, you guys talk. I'll jump in there. Sorry if I keep rubbing my eye, everybody.
No,
my
it's all
contact
good.
Is bothering
It's
me.
all good. We know that the Bad Girls Club don't mind week in and week out to hedge their bets, so to speak.
Sure.
And
always causing mischief like they seem to do.
It would be suggested here that I guess we'll find out, right? We'll find out what happened. Usually, if you think it's the Bad Girls Club, it was the Bad Girls Club, though.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we'll see here in a little bit towards the middle of the episode.
I don't know. I heard Haley, and drives.
Oh,
That's why she ran off the road.
I think
yeah,
I think we all saw it. I think
pretty well
that's
done.
well
Maybe
established.
that's what happened. I don't know.
Al Snow, one of the weirdest things that's happened since we've started doing this podcast was Al just flat on coming out and I said, were you ever afraid of anything that you might see on wrestlers? He said, well, I mean, I didn't love Haley driving down 75 smoking a joint, but I was like, well, okay, it's like, it's out there, so I guess it's no point
While
in trying
on
to
her
deny
phone,
it.
no
Yeah,
less.
Yeah, while on the talking on the phone, smoking a joint. And I was like, yeah, man, it is out there. It's just so funny how, it's if it's out there, there's no reason to deny it, right?
No,
but yeah, you bring up a very good point.
Haley's over, bro.
They
Don't matter.
yeah, but she could have been doing the sticky icky and just
bro,
kind of
swerved off the road.
it
That's
was
right.
raining last week. Who knows? Brian Hides, tell me about match number 2 here. Official match number 2.
So the second match was the Fallen, which was the Nephlum and ZDP versus your new best friend Maximo Suave
New personal players
and
close
Hoda
best
Pesos.
friend, Maximo Suave and Hoda Pesos. We kind of second week in a row we've seen Hoda Pesos and Maximo Suave. We mentioned last week that was something we know that it had kind of tried to be getting off the ground for some time. We're kind of seeing it get off the ground now, the team of Hoda Pesos and Maximo Suave. But the big thing here is that we had a no decision because the Golden Lions break up the match to call out the over.
Yeah, they sure did.
A few different things here. You guys talked about like, you put over like Ronnie Reverend leaving the company or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So like now it's just Deamon and ZDP. I'm trying to figure out a way to fix ZDP. I don't know. I think we need to like capture him and do some tests on him or something. But we're gonna turn him into something else if we can ever unpossess him. We just gotta figure out what it's gonna be.
What do you like about ZDP that you want to
He's
see
very
more possessed?
talented.
Very, yeah.
Yeah,
He
he's
does some
very, very
insane things.
Yeah, he's criminally underrated.
Amen to that.
Yeah,
He is.
He has some things he needs to work on as well, and he knows that. But I think we'll get him. We'll get him saved.
Get him up to where
we'll
he
get
needs
him,
to be.
We'll get him exercised, get the exorcism done on him, and get him clean again.
But that's part
Get
of
him
the
off
fun.
the
That's
drugs.
my favorite
We'll
part.
get him off the meth. That's why he's foaming out the mouth. We'll get him clean, send him to rehab, and he'll be a whole new wrestler.
Do you ever think it's hard to have like a spooky gimmick like this, like a demon gimmick like this, and unlearn it and like teach the fans to unlearn it?
Not for him. He'll be good at it. He'll figure it out. I know about this. There's so much insight to this happening. He didn't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But he did it, and he's done it to the best of his
He's
ability.
done it. He's done a great job.
Yeah.
He's
and
done
the
a
day
great
before, he told me we were talking about stuff like this, and he was like, "Oh, I could do anything. They made me something. I'll do it tomorrow." And then I remember him saying he didn't want to do it, and I was like, "You said you could do anything." And he's like, "You know what? I'm gonna do it."
Yeah.
And look, he's tearing it up. But we're gonna save him.
Get something. Fine. You figure it out.
Yeah, and this is like I love them as a tag team, Maximo and Peso. Also, they're definitely like the ultimate underdogs, as you can see, because this tag division is thick, bro. I mean, you got Cash and Shira, who clearly wanted to make a statement.
Right.
Sure.
So they destroyed everybody in the ring.
They have the
You've
Overmen.
got the Fallen, you've got the Overmen. You've got Luscious and Omar, big boys, and then you've got now you've got Donovan and TW3, the hottest tag team in OVW.
Oh yeah, my new favorite tag team.
When Adam Revolver, the last run of the Overmen, when they held the tag team was of course with you, Luke Kurtis, and Joe Mack.
Yeah.
Adam Revolver kind of comes in. Now he's the tag team champion with your former partner Joe Mack.
He comes in with a lot less style and.
This is true. This is
amen
true.
to that.
And
were you aware? Did you even know that they were gonna challenge as a team?
I was in the Dominican Republic, dude.
You were having the time of your life,
yeah,
man.
Bro.
I just feel
I
like
was staying in a villa in the jungle somewhere. I don't know.
you guys had such a great reign, you and Joe Mack.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, like how
Oh, yeah,
all of a sudden you come back. You
obviously-
come back from a great vacation, and then the Human Thumb, Adam Revolver, has your former belt, like
You know,
with your former best friends
I already
or
knew they
still
were-
kind of best friend?
Nah, I knew they were up to something, you know. Before I even went on vacation, you know, with that thing where Joe made me fall off the rope.
Yeah.
He tried to say he didn't. I know he did. And then when I saw that, with them winning the tag titles, I mean, it all made sense. I get it. Whatever.
I want to ask you about Will Austin. What do you think about Will Austin?
Will's great.
Yeah.
Will's great. You know, Will and Tiffany. You know, Leila and I are the ones that suggested they come out here to begin with.
Yeah. You guys have known each other. I know that
Since Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now the four of us, you know, we took up a lot of TV time on this show.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, we dominate this show. You know, Will's always in a good segment. You know, I'm always in a top segment. Leila and Tiffany are running the women's division. So,
We have seen him take some bumps.
He's insane, man. He's willing to
Yeah.
go to some weird places.
yeah. He's always been that way. He's done some crazy stuff, man. Even in Florida, he was taking some crazy bumps and stuff.
Wow.
And he was always good. Even in Florida, he was good. But he's learned the TV like very well and how to like play to the audience and things like that. So Will's gotten nothing but better like every time. I'm surprised he hasn't won the Rush Championship already. You know, but it's been on Cal for so long. I mean, Cal's you know, Cal's eventually gonna do something with it. I don't know what's gonna happen. I think he's gonna try to cash in that Rush title and just jump up to like the Kentucky.
Yeah.
And he's probably gonna beat the hell out of Tony Evans fast or
Yep.
something.
Something.
We'll find out this Thursday.
What do you think about Ryan Von Rocket? This is like kind of like a true journeyman wrestler. Like he's been doing it for a long time. He has TV experience. He was on Tough Enough. He's been around doing this thing for a long time.
I first started watching him on Tough Enough when I got in the business before I even had been to OVW, and I ended up seeing him at a show in Chicago, Leila and I, and we were like, hey, man, you know, you're from Tough Enough. I'd already looked him up because I watched the show. I was like, oh, this guy's still at OVW. He's been the champ before. You know, me and Leila would talk about these things. And he's like, yeah, you guys got to come out. We'd always wanted to come anyway. So, like, I've known Ryan, you know, since before I even came to OVW. He's one of the first people. He's a wealth of knowledge. Like you said, he's been doing it a long time. He's great with his character work.
Right. How much of it though is not a character? How intense is Ryan Von Rocket all the time?
He's got different levels of intensity. You know, he's always pretty intense, even if he's like kind of mellow.
Right.
You know,
Right.
He's like to kind of he's bringing a lot out here. You know, this is a lot of
Absolutely,
energy, a lot
man.
of passion that he's putting into this. So like, you know, he can be pretty calm backstage a lot of times. You know, you can just kind of tell it's building up inside of him, getting ready to.
Have you ever gotten an invite to go see his cover band?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, we might have to make an OVW podcast trip one day. We'll shoot you a text if we end up going to
let's
see
do
Ryan
it.
Von Rocket's cover band.
Yeah,
Cool.
We'll crash it.
Ryan Von Rocket takes the interview.
Picks up the win, but Ryan has a whole new attitude here. Let's talk about
Yeah.
that. He doesn't
Yeah,
come out.
I felt bad for him because he seemed like he was lost without the Rockettes.
This,
Yeah, but he won at the end.
this
Well, he
Carson,
did,
This
but-
Carson Drake thing
Yeah,
has been
Yeah,
going
Carson.
on.
yeah,
Keep striking out with the ladies.
That I guess was one of the big overarching stories throughout the night is Carson Drake running back and forth and sweating his balls off trying to entertain both of the Rockettes separately.
And and you see Ryan is out here alone, still able to pick up the win, but
Yeah. But yeah, completely different side of Ryan Von Rocket, like you
Yep.
said. A little grittier, little harder edge
Yes.
version of Ryan Von Rocket. We do have an interview with Will Austin coming up in the feed this week.
This
Tiny
Thursday.
Brian?
Yeah,
Tiny Brian?
that's right.
So
Good deal.
look out for that as well. Up next, Big Zoe versus who I like to call everybody at OVW's favorite new toy, the Iron Demon Shane Mercer. What's it like to just have like somebody that's so purely freaky of an athlete like Shane Mercer is?
yeah, I mean Shade's been a great addition to the show. Been getting a bunch of wins. I mean, I think he beat Will last week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Zoe this week.
And I mean, Zoe's no slouch either.
No, yeah, Zoe it's great to see Zoe on TV. Zoe's been around for a long time. It was a great match. I enjoyed it. Shane's a freak of nature. He's super strong. let's see where he's trying to go in the company, where he's trying to move to. I think that's a big part of a lot of it too. Like guys coming in, it's good to watch Shane wrestle, but where's he going?
Well, and I kind of question that sometimes myself because he's very impressive, but I don't know what.
It's about getting established.
Right,
You know?
right. I'd watch the guy wrestle all the time, but I don't know that I necessarily, as a fan, and like we've established in this conversation, I don't know anything because I'm just a fan. I don't know if I need him to win a belt. I don't know if I want to see him like up there at the upper echelon against guys like Tony Gunn or Jack Vaughn. I just like to watch him do his cool test of strength and stuff like that, and watch him throw dudes that are twice his size around the ring. That's what
he
I
did
that-
parkour off
Yeah,
of Big Zoe.
He's insanely
That's why he
talented
needs to
there.
be doing other stuff.
Yeah.
Because we need to see.
Sink and swim.
This is television, man. This is a matter of like developing. Television angles are extremely important in professional wrestling. Every story that I've had has developed my character and made me who I am. This is why Certified Luke Kurtis is who he is, because that guy Juta Peso or whatever, like I was the one that made him Manny Domingo, because when he got to OVW, they didn't even know how to chant his name.
Yeah.
They worked the angle with me.
Oh, wow.
And I got help get him over, and then he came out in the Rumble and was the most over person because we worked an angle forever.
Yeah.
It's these different moments that build you and make you who you are. That helped make me who I am. When I first got there, I worked with Isaiah. That helped turn me into certified, before I had the robes and stuff. So, Manny gets elevated. I get elevated over here. I work angles with different guys. Kripke, try to take his baby. All kinds of stuff, man. Shane, this character needs to develop into something that the audience can relate to. And to do that, you have to be involved in stories. I'm about to wrestle for the NWA championship, and things are changing at OVW. I was getting booed 2 weeks ago. I'm getting cheered now. This is going to stick with me for wherever I go. It's important.
It's taken a lot of work. Took a lot of time for you to get booed, for people to get to the point where they wanted to cheer you.
I never thought that they would come.
I sometimes, just again, me sitting in the folding chairs in the audience, there were times where I was afraid it wasn't going to come either. And I desperately wanted it for you because I thought you deserved it. And I thought that everything had been done pitch perfect. But sometimes with the people in there, man, they get, and I've done this in wrestling too, so I'm not above it, but they're still sore about stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like Davis Arena, this goes back to just how good the fans are at OVW. Is like they're not as quick to forgive just because they're told they should forgive you now.
No, they kind of take that personal.
Yeah,
sometimes.
you gotta earn it.
And that's kind of like what I'm saying about the fans, overthinking things and not taking what's given to them, because at the end of the day, everything is circumstantial. You don't like me because of things that I do, but you like me because of the thing that I'm about to do.
Right,
Right. So now you're behind me, right?
Yeah.
But if I do something that you don't like again, you're not going to like me again.
And it can go away that quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, I could break everything in this office and smash all your stuff and get in my car and haul ass out of here. You don't like me no more, right?
Yeah, you could.
But if someone tries to come in and do it and I beat them up, you're going to love me.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
You right?
Yeah.
It's all circumstantial.
We're not getting our stuff smashed, are we?
Not today.
I hope not, because it's all my stuff.
Maybe if you let them in here, crazy women.
Oh, yeah. That's why we only have one of them by at a time.
One at a time.
I was downstairs when that was happening. I could hear it from the whole building. It sounded like a bunch of chickens fighting up there.
This is, for context, the team of Freya, the Slaya, and confrontation between, team of Freya, the Slaya, and
Literally
Gema.
being marched to the ring by Al to start a match.
This didn't seem like an episode so much as a free-for-all this week with a couple of matches mixed in, because you had the women erupting and throwing, getting mad at each other, and then you had the three masked men later on.
And I love that stuff. I feel like
Yeah.
that's how it should be,
Yeah, it was unsettling in a good way. I didn't expect all that ruckus. There wasn't nearly as much structure as there normally is on the weekly show. There were run-ins and things I wasn't expecting, so I appreciated that.
I like television and I like stories. You want to be entertained by the show. You only can watch so many wrestling matches. Before you're like, oh, You know.
Well, and there's such a big conversation about that happening in like wrestling in general right now. Is like,
Oh, it's a huge part of it. It's the biggest thing.
Is you have two very different philosophies of like, oh, it's fine to just put out these 35-minute bangers every week, and like I like watching that to a certain extent, but when I like watching that, I like watching it cold on YouTube because I heard about it.
Yeah, of course.
And like, I do have a problem kind of with match every week because I am still a wrestling fan who wants to see a story.
Yeah. I think that
it's great to do 5 backflips in a row or whatever, but if I don't care, I don't care.
storytelling has always been a part of culture. Like just going back to religion, everybody has a religion, everybody has a story, everybody has a story to be told forever. Storytelling is like what people are. Like we tell stories. The entertainment business has always been storytelling. Movies, television shows. This is what the entertainment business is. You're putting on a TV show, you're telling stories. Like that's just like what this is. Me over the years delivering certified Luke Kurtis to you week after week after week after week. That's me telling you my story. That's all everything is storytelling. So why would you try to take that out of a television show?
Right.
And not have it be a story?
Well, that's the best part.
I understand that wrestling fans like watching wrestling matches, but there's a reason why they try to take wrestling out of the Olympics, because straight wrestling is boring. Yeah, bro. And you're trying to bring in casual viewers. You're trying to bring in new fans because that helps business grow. Because if not, right, what happens? Your fans that you have now, they get old.
Yeah.
And then they die.
Yeah.
And then you'll have no fans. So you have to keep bringing in new fans, bringing in a new audience, constantly evolving your product, making it young again, making it fresh, So that's kind of what it has to be. I don't see any other way to you have to tell stories.
No, I tend to agree with you.
Because at the root of it all anyway, you're telling a story. Like everything's a story.
Right. And like that's how we, even for thousands of years, you mentioned religion, mentioned this and that, even like fictional stories or true stories or whatever. This is how we're taught to know whether or not we like something about, even like, do I like Brian? Because Brian acts like this.
Everything's a once upon a time.
Yeah. That's how we're taught literally what good and bad is.
Yep.
And how we feel about good and bad is through storytelling.
Yep.
Bad Girls Club here, the team of Leila Gray and Dream Girl Ellie, and the OVW champion Freya the Slaya and Gema. Al set this as a tables, ladders, and chairs match.
Yes.
After Tiffany Nieves was drug away, I guess, to...
Yeah, we can't just gloss over that. I mean, that was
I don't know where they're taking Tiffany.
For crying out loud.
Like, this part of the show is super entertaining to me.
Yeah, it really was.
No show on TV, no wrestling show has this.
No.
Right into a match like this. The Tiffany putting it over, like, phenomenal. Like,
yeah, really. No, she's fantastic.
Then I'm watching this at home with Leila, watching it back, and I'm like, this is real. Like, I'm like, you should attack them right now. And then they run over and start attacking them. Yeah. I'm like, that's what it's supposed to be. Like, all the fans are looking like, oh, they should, these bad girls are going to hit them. They should attack them. And then sure enough, they attack them.
There we go.
Because that's what the people are thinking is going to happen. That's what should happen.
You're
telling the story.
It was good to be there in person because you kind of felt that chaos. And I mean,
they're pissed.
To watch it on TV
Tiffany
was one thing, but to actually be there and to feel the outrage of La Princesa and everybody trying to drag her out, it was a circus.
Yeah.
I loved it. That was exactly what it was meant to be, and it was a scene, and it was great to be there in person to experience that.
OVW does a really great job of like lulling everyone into thinking that everything is real cool and it's going to be real cool forever, and your guys are going to be they're going to have the championship for a long time, and your guys, they're going to be protecting the company, and then like within 2 weeks it's just fucking chaos. You didn't know. None of the champions are the same. The guys that were good guys are bad guys. The guys that are bad guys are good guys. Within 2 weeks, the entire infrastructure has been blown up. And that's the point in the cycle we kind of are at right now with OVW.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Like you guys were talking about with like you know, looking ahead at the story. Like maybe in other companies it is like that. Maybe at WWE they're like at WrestleMania in 6 months you're doing this, you know. But at OVW, bro, I don't. Luke Kurtis will be in action this week. Hey guys, I know the same amount as you guys.
Yeah.
The graphic. I will be in action this week.
That's it.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. All I know is I'm probably going to be wrestling, I think. You know? But I'm pretty sure those mask guys are going to come out and attack me. Right? That's common sense.
yeah.
You don't think I'm going to be looking around for them?
Yeah.
Like, that's what this is.
The
you know?
week before the pay-per-view, I'm sure that they
Yeah.
will definitely be around.
Yeah, so I'm going to be watching out for them. But, you know, like, that's all we know at OVW. And then, like, I don't know what I'm doing on the 10th, like, at the pay-per-view. Like, I don't know if I'm wrestling on the pay-per-view. Like, you know, I'm going to be in the building.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't have a match set.
And that's 5 days before a huge match. Maybe one of the biggest matches of
Yeah.
your entire career.
Yeah.
Between EC3.
Yeah, that's what everybody's saying. Biggest match of my career. So, like, yeah, like, I don't know. I guess I know that the EC3 match is coming up. I know one thing.
That seems to be a recurring theme with a lot of the people that we've talked to is they don't really know everything until it's actually time. Like when we got to Davis Arena and we talked to Cash, they had just announced the Manchester show, and he was like, "Really? We're doing a show at the Manchester?" And
Yeah, we
like,
don't know.
I hadn't heard that, but.
Yeah.
And like you said, about like 2 weeks in the company, everything can be drastically different.
Yeah.
When we were there last Thursday, Brian and I were sitting together, and the usual energy from the crowd was just different. I mean, more often than not, when you go to Davis Arena, you're going to see the people that you see just about every other time, and you kind of know what to expect in terms of just the experience itself and like the matches and the programming and how everything's paced and timed out and stuff. The whole energy was like different last week, and we talked about that, and that was right before the title change at the end of the night. And to your point, that's exactly where we are right now in the story cycle, because this kind of felt like the aftermath of last week when everything like shifted into a completely
It is the
different,
storm after the
unpredictable.
calm.
Yeah,
Is,
that's a good way to put it.
is kind of what we've been going on the past couple of weeks. But that element of chaos, OVW, nobody does it better. Nobody does it better. Nobody knows when to pull that pin out and throw that grenade better than OVW does.
And that's because, you know.
Al Snow,
Come on.
certified.
Al Snow.
The unpredictability is
That's
the best.
You know, 40 years of wrestling, 40 years of experience, kid. Like, that's what we can get out of that.
Yeah. Well, and he's obviously such a very analytical guy.
You want me to tell you another secret about wrestling?
Yeah.
Trick in wrestling?
Yeah.
Check this out. So it takes like, in almost anything you do, right? It takes like 10 years to be like a master of your craft, right? 10 years of like hours put in. So like to be a really good wrestler, like it takes time, right? You would think.
Sure.
To be a promoter and to book a wrestling show, it's the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you watch a lot of wrestling, just because you wrote it down on paper a lot of times, does not mean you are going to be a good booker. It takes years of wrestling experience, and then it takes years of sitting under a booker or a promoter. You don't even need the wrestling experience. You have to sit under a booker, a promoter, somebody that's been doing it for years to know how to book this properly. Mm-hmm. That's it. That's just the number one thing in this business. You cannot book a wrestling show effectively if you have not learned under a legend of booking.
Right.
Like that's it.
And that kind of goes back to the whole family mentality. And if you're an outsider, you know, you don't get that knowledge. You don't get that after you've been there for a while and you slowly pick up on things and people share things with you. I mean, that's how you learn it. You can't
The old is becoming new again, or has become new again in a lot of this wrestling stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, I'm like a super old school wrestler, a lot of people would think, you know, but people love what I do because it's fresh.
Right.
Everybody's doing the same stuff over and over and over. I'm just doing the stuff they did 40, 50 years ago, you know?
And
That's all it is.
I'm sure Al would say to you, I've heard him say it to on other people's stuff. He said it to me on here and in the past. I'm sure he said it to you and all the students he's ever had. Wrestling ain't changed. It's still it's the same thing as it was 40 years ago as it was 40 years before that.
Yeah. The only difference in the wrestling business is like the television. It's the way you do business. But wrestling is completely. It's the same gimmick, dude. You know, fans pay tickets to come watch a wrestling show.
Yeah.
Set up a ring somewhere, pay some money, they come do it, or you do it on television. That's the only difference. Like, you know,
We have to just figure out how to get them back next week. That's the job.
Yeah.
You know, whether it be on TV or whether it be in person.
A lot of it is like there were some stars, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There were some stars in the business. There were people that weren't afraid and they didn't have the restrictions on them maybe, and they were able to go out there and be superstars. And and they were. You know, there ain't no Kurt Angles now. There ain't no Rocks.
No.
John Cena's like Hulk Hogan's I think
MJF is
he's good.
He's
yeah,
up
MJF
there.
is really good.
If there's going to be an argument for someone on the major level, I think it's MJF.
Yes.
That's
MJF's awesome.
I'm
That's
a
about
massive
it.
Cody guy, but I think honestly
Cody's really good.
But
Cody's really good.
I don't think he's
Roman's really good.
I think Cody's really good for wrestling guys.
Yeah.
Like wrestling fans. I don't think when I think of The Rock,
Stone Cold.
That's crossover. Cody Rhodes is
I think Cody is going to cross over though, and he's going to be the next guy
not with
to
that
be
big ass tattoo on his neck.
He's going to be I guess
That keeps him way too much in just the realm
wrestling.
of yeah.
well, that's a good point. Yeah.
He'll put on a turtleneck or something. I think Cody will be in movies and stuff.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
I mean, he's like my favorite wrestler. I've spent more time with tears in my eyes during Cody Rhodes matches than I have like Schindler's List. So
yeah. I try to model myself after Cody Rhodes, like backstage and stuff. He really is like an ultimate professional.
Yeah, no. And
he's
I
the
just think
best.
I believe in him in ring and out of ring.
Yeah.
You know, he's very
You just don't think he's a superstar like that.
You know what?
Put the man
You make
over.
a very good
Put the
point.
man
You make a
over.
very good point. Maybe this is me not having enough confidence in what I like for him to
There you
think
go.
that he could do the thing.
I think if there were more Cody Rhodes, the wrestling business would be a lot better.
Absolutely. It just seems like he has so much respect for it and is very genuine and understands what it.
I feel like
what
when
it
I
can
watched
be,
Cody
not what it
Rhodes,
is.
when I watched Cody Rhodes and CM Punk promo against each other.
Oh my gosh.
You know, this is how I looked at it. Like Cody Rhodes, I feel like when you watch him promo, like you could tell he's done acting classes. Like he's phenomenal. Like he knows how to take his pauses. He knows how to look away. He knows how to do things at the right time.
Yeah.
He looks trained.
Right.
You know, CM Punk is more like raw talent.
Right.
You know, Cody Rhodes is talent, culminated, trained. I feel like he's definitely going to be an actor. Yes. Like he's got like that the way that he talks, the way he pauses, the way the facials, like, you know, CM Punk is like, he's just a man of the people.
Charisma. Have you ever thought about
charisma.
doing, is that something that happens pretty regularly? Have you ever thought about doing acting classes?
Yeah, definitely. It's going to happen at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like getting into bodybuilding now, so like I'm going to compete in bodybuilding this year.
Right on.
So like, you know, I want to do that. And it's gonna all come together.
It's gonna,
Of course,
yeah,
I
definitely.
I want to live in LA, bro.
It's all right.
So it'd be a little better than Louisville sometimes, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's. I'm looking forward to this tables, ladders, and chairs match.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what they're
That's gonna be a
climbing the
big
ladder
deal.
for, but
Just for funsies.
yeah.
So out number 6 here, that would be the first fight of the second hour, Brian.
Correct. And that is.
Tell us about your new favorite tag team, Brian Hunt.
It's the Mammoth, Donovan, Cecil, and the 80s baby, TW3. This is the third week in a row?
Yes.
Third or fourth? And they just keep looking better and better. I mean, as far as two people that haven't been a tag team for very long, I feel like they are knocking it out of the park. I feel like they're doing a great job, and I still stand by this. 2024 is the year of the Mammoth.
Absolutely. Donovan is definitely somebody to watch out for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I train at the same gym as Donovan.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah, so I watch him kind of do his strongman stuff like regularly.
I've seen it on Facebook a little bit. That's really impressive.
Yeah, so like it's like, you know, just to kind of give you, you know, I do bodybuilding, so, you know, I do a lot more like fine detail work and stuff. And Donovan's just like wears a mouthpiece when he works out. You know, you got to put like fake teeth in so he don't break his own teeth.
Two very different philosophies on training, right?
And literally it'll be a Thursday before TV. You know, I get my hair cut, I go in the gym, I got my nice outfit on, you know, I hit my weights and stuff, and then I just hear at some point the weights like clanking on the ground. I look over and it's Donovan like picking up 700 pounds before TV.
Yeah, I was gonna say the last one I saw was like 690 or something, but yeah, right up there
before TV. And then he's out there hitting drop kicks and stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It looks like he's gotten his diet in better check too. He looks like he's like leaner. You know, he's carrying it very well.
Tiny Brian, they're not actually calling the officially Mammoth at the Disco, are they?
They, per the broadcast team during the broadcast, they are officially calling themselves
That
Mammoth
is
of the Disco.
perfect.
No,
I absolutely
no.
love it.
We will. This is going in the same category as the Golden Chops or Lion Chops or whatever the fuck that was called. This is going into the all-time. Jackman will not call them that team name.
I will.
I love this team. I really do. I think they have great chemistry. I think that they are instant standouts in the tag team
Well,
division.
this was a huge win.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, and they're picking up a win over Beaches and Cream, but I will not refer to them as Mammoth at the Disco. I cannot and will not do it.
That's fine. I will.
T-Dub's also come a long way, man.
Dude, T-Dubs is
You guys
incredible.
know how old
man.
T-Dub is?
It's like
We
45.
do. He was one of
Looks like
our
he's 25.
earlier
Yeah.
episodes or interviews, and I thought there is no way
Yeah, it's
this
almost
guy
like-
was born in the 80s, and he told us how old he was. It's like, whoa, that's nuts.
When I was doing his cage match research, I was like, oh no, I can't find the guy. Because I looked at the age and was like, no, there's no way it's the guy. It can't be the same guy. There's no way this guy was born in the 80s.
T-Dub also opened up a school in Green Bay. He's got a promotion going. They sold out their first show, so
That's
Oh,
awesome.
good deal. Congratulations.
Yeah.
It was his birthday yesterday, wasn't it?
yes.
Yeah,
He's
happy
a
birthday.
Very
got a lot of
hardworking guy.
experience,
Very
very-
smart guy.
Yeah.
Wish him
Yes.
the best of luck in whatever, in his new promotion and everything. He's just very, very measured type of dude. Could see him being a good presence to have backstage, I guess.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's all right, I guess.
He's all right.
Nah, T-Dub's great.
Mammoth at the Disco, everybody's new favorite tag team, picks up the win over Beaches and Cream.
They're the Lady Bird, Sophia Rose of the men's.
They
division.
really are.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really are.
Yep.
Beaches and Cream, though, everyone really despises them. So
Yeah, they're phenomenal.
a great win here. Great
Yes.
win for the team
Yeah,
of
and
Donovan
former tag
Cecil
champs,
ladies.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like tag team gold could be in their future.
former tag champs and former
I mean,
singles champs.
What's Adam
Omar
gonna do
and
against
Luscious
these
Love.
guys or Joe?
Oh, nothing.
Yeah, come on.
No.
Without me there, they don't stand a chance.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. They're just not. Donovan's too much.
Adam Revolver looks like Donovan's skeleton, bro.
Yeah.
It looks like
Is his skeleton literally looks like Donovan's skeleton?
if you put him in an orange jumpsuit, he would look like he was trying to dress up as him for Halloween.
Yeah. Cosplaying.
Yeah,
Cosplaying as
yeah.
the mammoth.
Cosplaying as the mammoth. Yeah.
Adam probably can't grow a beard though, so
No, definitely not. Definitely not. He doesn't have. He has no hair on his body
he
other than
probably just grows
eyebrows.
pubes on his face.
Tony got his banned from Historic Davis Arena for the evening.
Those are
Carson-
probably just Joe's pubes.
we see Carson Drake, as we mentioned earlier, running around with the Von Rockets. That's why the Von Rockets were not able to join Ryan Von Rocket ringside earlier in the evening. They are both on dates with him separately from each other. This has never worked out well in my life, where you try to. These two girls seem too close for them not to have communicated they were both going on a date with Carson Drake. This usually does not work out. It didn't work out for Carson Drake, but I'm just saying, women communicate.
Yeah,
They
that's
would
a
have
lot of
known
work.
They would have
Sure.
known way earlier.
Yeah, what
They
are
would
you
have
trying to
known
do?
way
Yeah.
earlier.
That's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work for nothing. He gained nothing from it. He just looked like an idiot by the end of the night.
Yeah.
He's horrible about catching those drinks too.
It's the haircut.
Yeah, the haircut.
When he got the haircut, he lost all of his mojo.
Yeah.
That is the truth, man. That
I
is
think
the truth. Big Beef Gnarls Garvin in our next match versus OVW Rush Division champion Cal Hero, the Fanny Pack Kid. guess this was Big Beef. His Big Zo had competed in a match earlier in the night.
Right.
They usually would be competing together in tag team, the Destroyers.
Yeah.
They were separated this week for whatever reason. Gnarls Garvin's been a great singles wrestler, though, to kind of bring in and signpost people. Oh, because he is a big, tough son of a bitch.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
no, he's great. He
Yeah.
reminds me of like Stan Hansen, but small.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could definitely see that.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to his tights. I liked his tights. I guess he's back to trunks.
I kind of like the trunks, man, because it makes him look like just like beefy. Big, like a big beefy. I don't know. It's his name, bro. It is his name. Like, but no, I kind of like trunks. Maybe it's kind of an old school thing. I don't know.
Cal picks up a win out of nowhere, still chasing the coattails of all Certified. Look at him. Slowly climbing the roster. Whew.
That was a relatively quick match. I figured it was
I'm going to
probably
have gray
going to
hair
last.
by the time Cal gets to fucking the top of the card.
Do you ever get frustrated that it seems like Cal has only been able to have this championship for as long as he has because he's not defending it week in and week out?
Yeah, against me.
Yeah, and you are a former champion of the Rush division. You were
Like 4 times.
exactly. You
I
were
made
no
that division, bro.
You were no stranger to defending it. It seems like Cal at some points, especially recently, is not necessarily willing to defend it. All of his matches have been non-title matches with that belt in the last few weeks.
Protected.
To Will Austin,
Protected.
Will Austin, maybe rightfully so, mentioned on these very airwaves in an interview you can hear on Thursday that he thinks there's a little bit of nepotism going on with Cal Hero and Al Snow.
He's not his son.
Well, but he's very close with his father.
Well,
They've known each other for a
that's
long
true.
time. Will Austin was not shy about his feelings on that.
There could be some of that. What I will say about it is I think that Cal is a little snake. That's what you guys don't know.
You think there's a layer to Cal that we don't see?
Yeah, bro. He's trying to make sure he doesn't have title matches. So, like I said, he can cash that in for the Kentucky title and try to move up the card. I know how this little kid plays games. He's trying to talk his way out of title matches or something. We'll see.
Only time will tell.
Those punches look good though.
From whatever I've seen, I can't agree with that statement because we've only seen Cal Hero to be just and upfront and straight and a good guy all around.
Well, I don't know if
Sometimes
it's true. I don't know if it's
sometimes
true.
there's been your actions of yourself or actions of the people that you kept company that I might be questioning some of your motivation sometimes. But we have a lot more to go off of for you than we do Cal Hero. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I'm just
You
saying.
did use your own mother to cheat against your best friend in a match.
My mom?
Yeah.
What did I do?
Was that not
The injury against Joe
the
Mack.
fake injury?
Where's my mom?
I think Brian did.
I mean, there was a woman.
Did
who
we just
came to
make that? Did
ringside
we
who-
just make that up?
Was there
Yeah.
just a middle-aged woman there who we just thought was
It
your
might have
mom?
been-
One of the doctors.
It might,
Oh,
yeah,
well, okay.
yeah. I definitely.
My mom will be there on the 15th though. So
Well,
yeah,
good.
funny.
So who decided that
So
that
don't
was
use her to cheat.
Your mom. Who decided that?
I
Because
think it was in our notes. I think
You
Tiny
guys
Brian
decided.
decided.
I
it.
remember being there at the show, and first of all, that is the most Andy Kaufman-esque thing I've seen in a long time. Taking it that far, and I mean, at first that happened, it's like, no, he's not really hurt, and
He's
then it goes
fine.
on a little more, and a little more, and a little more. It's like,
Yeah, once
Damn,
once
man.
you guys started clapping, I was like, gotcha.
and then you got all the way up the ramp, and yeah, the whole place was like, oh yeah, you're not hurt, we're really pulling for you, and then, bam, back out to the ring, 1, 2, 3, boom. That was just great.
I was with someone.
I mean, yeah, but come on, I beat Joe. Like, who cares?
I brought a friend that night to the wrestling match, and they had never seen wrestling ever.
Oh, they
Had
probably thought that was crazy.
Oh, they were like, I think he's really hurt. And I was just like, I was sitting there waiting
like,
because
I
I
don't
was ready. I was ready to explode because I wanted you to win. I wanted you to win. I was invested. I was heavily invested in what was going on. I was ready to explode. You come back down to the ring. I fucking lost my shit, man. It was awesome. And, it was partly because I thought you were so dastardly that you'd had your mother lie and cheat on your behalf, but
Well, so
maybe we just
Mistakenly.
maybe we retcon that.
the woman that was not my mother, the trainer that came out, she had no idea either.
Oh,
Really?
So she must have thought, like, these people are nuts, bro.
Maybe
She'd
it
only
was-
been there like a month or 2 months,
Yeah.
like every week, just kind of watching. So she's never seen nothing like that before.
So you were messing with her too.
So
That's
like,
great.
So she's like grabbing my leg, and I'm like, "Let go!" And she's like, "Oh my god, I'm sorry." And then when I just like, she's like, "We're about to get to the back," and I just like push off of her. Like she was probably like, you can see her on camera. She's just standing there like, she looks mortified. Like,
we
she's
have
like,
to go back and watch that now.
like she's just standing,
I
like
wanna
she's
see
literally
it.
standing at the entrance ramp, like on camera, like just like these people are. She's like, these people are out of their mind. She must think like this is the circus for real. Like, this guy just took off back to the ring, had me out here sweating, thinking he was hurt. Yeah, bro. I was like, when she grabbed it.
We should go back and rewatch that, and we should also go back and take out any time we've ever mentioned that it was Luke's mother.
I'll take the L on
we
that,
should go
gentlemen.
back and count
That was
and
me.
snip all of that out of the podcast for perpetuity.
All right, Malachi, get on that.
Thank you, Malachi.
I mean, to be fair, like she's like black.
Oh no, this was a white lady that I'm thinking of. There was a lady at ringside. I promise.
We're going to have to go back and look at the tape.
We're gonna
I
have to
guess.
check the tape.
No,
all there is
we're
to it.
gonna never talk about this ever again.
That sounds like a better idea.
is what we're actually gonna do.
Anybody know where we had the rails for this podcast?
No,
They're long gone, man. Long gone.
long gone.
The rails.
The rails are.
So we can
the
get
rails
back.
we
Yeah,
were
we're
saying
off the
get back
rails.
on 'em.
We'd like to
I
get
was
back
gonna say,
on
would you
them.
guys snort the rails? That's where they went.
Yeah, maybe. I had a long weekend. Luke. I really did. The real one knows the secret about OVW heavyweight champion Jack Vaughn. He uses it to get a title shot, kind of up to his old tricks. I heard a joke earlier today, so I'm not gonna try to take credit for it. This is someone else's joke, but they said that someone looked like they got caught in a fire on laundry day, that they dressed like they got caught in a fire on laundry day, and that's kind of what real one looks like week in and week out. He just, all of his real clothes were dirty, and he had to leave the apartment very quickly.
Kind of, yeah.
He looks like Ronald
In an
McDonald's
emergency.
household son. That's what he looks like.
The people in the comments.
Gritty reboot, Ronald McDonald.
Yes.
The fans are so ruthless in the comments, dude.
What's like one of the worst things that you've ever heard from OVW audience, whether it be towards you or towards somebody else?
Oh,
Because there's some.
I don't know.
There's some tidy whities is simple but effective.
I mean,
Yeah.
they
People like
say
that
all
one.
kinds of stuff.
Oh,
dude.
they say-
I mean, yeah, I can't even think, man.
The one that is not, it's not even vulgar, but one that really kind of just like, I think like cuts a little too deep is when the audience chants Squidward at Jack Vaughn. I'm like, man, come on.
Do
That's
they
a little-
really?
Yeah. I'm like, man,
Yeah.
that's like,
Yeah, the
we don't have to
audience-
do that to Jack Vaughn. He seems like a nice guy sometimes.
I felt bad for the guy who got chanted Oldberg at him at the Nightmare Rumble.
Oldberg?
Yeah, I remember that.
Hey, that's a compliment.
Old bird.
Yeah.
That's it exactly. I may have participated in that chant actually.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
So we were questioning last week who we thought the match that Tony Evans had promised to take on a champion and beat them was going to be. We probably should have known it was going to be against Star Rider for the Kentucky Country Boy Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah.
These guys have been in each other's hair for a long time. Usually,
Yeah, and he has the advantage over him
yeah,
because he got beat up last week.
by the
Yeah.
Overland.
So
Right.
he's just taking advantage of a weakened opponent.
And
Which is
Classic
par for the
Tony.
course.
Classic
Yeah.
Tony Evans. Classic Tony Evans. He ends up taking the victory here over a weekend Star Rider,
Who gets
hoping
knocked out in midair.
by the baked potato.
Yeah, the loaded
or
baked potato
whatever
glove. That
you
was
like to
crazy.
call it, the baked potato glove thing. Jay De Niro, I guess, kind of able to. He hadn't interfered over the last couple of weeks at the behest of Tony Evans, but this week Tony Evans was determined to get the victory. Said we'll do it by any means necessary. Had the interference. all of that leads Mick Foley to give him a lowered grade of a D-, down from a C.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's struggling for that A, huh?
This has been really fun to watch week in and week out. I think
This has been great.
Yeah, well, it's just like, dude, it's Mick Foley.
Uh-huh.
Like, it's Mick. You don't have to do much, but he's doing. He. I guess what I would like to say is he wouldn't have to do much other than show up, but he's doing a ton.
Oh,
Like, he's not phoning it in. Not that he would ever, if you know anything about the man, or
Yeah, he's a fan, man.
He's a big fan and just a good all around.
He watched
good
wrestlers.
Guy. Yeah. He talked about it. He was talking about it like week 1 on his podcast, watching wrestlers.
Yeah.
Him and Al have known each other for a long time. He's helped OVW in the past with stuff, so not surprising to see him back, but always great to have him there.
While we're on the subject, I saw an article earlier this week that I mean, I don't know how this could be true. I mean, about him wanting to do one more death match for his 60th birthday.
Like Tony Evans getting a death match with Mick.
Who do you think the opponent would be? Because I could definitely see that happening in the OVW.
Well, I mean, Matt Cardona keeps saying.
Yeah, it would be John Moxley or Matt Cardona or Nick Gage. Those would be in no particular order.
Yeah, I feel like it'd be like Cardona.
Cardona would be.
But maybe it's gonna be some crazy. He ain't having no match.
No. He shouldn't, man.
No.
He shouldn't.
Not a death match either.
It's great. It's great to see him.
Want to get hit with light tubes and shit.
Well, and he did some insane stuff back in the day, and it's even gotten more insane now.
Yeah.
Than what he was even doing.
Yeah.
And so at 60 years old, Mick, we love you. We want to see you get. We want to see you get to 61 at least.
Yeah.
So maybe no death matches, but if it ever came to fruition, it's John Moxley. I'm gonna assume it's like the only dude who could warrant him doing it in my mind.
I mean, I honestly don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think,
think it should.
I think it's a moot point.
Yeah.
So we have a OVW Heavyweight Championship title bout here in the main event between Real One and the veteran Jack Vaughn. Before the match gets off the ground, Tony Gunn's out there to draw the disqualification.
Another time, this week's episode felt more like a circus than an actual wrestling show.
Chaos.
Somebody runs in, fight ensues. They pulled him apart several times, and
classic Tony Gunn. Drinking too much, running out there attacking people before their matches.
Well, and also
drunkard.
As for me as the fan, after last week's complete amazing banger main event, I was ready to see another long banger main event.
Everybody was too.
And not that I'm complaining about, like we're saying, like we have to tell stories alongside having those great moments. Otherwise, having a great wrestling match like that, it's diminished, right? It doesn't matter as much to have a great wrestling match like that.
And you would hate if it didn't deliver.
Right.
Yeah.
But I was there for it.
Remember the one.
Exactly. I just wanted it again, man, because it was awesome. It was hot, man. It was hot.
The best match I've ever seen on OVW.
It was. If I had to choose one, man, this September 11th show, 2019, is one of the first live shows on downtown at 4th of July, or 4th Street Live rather, and there was like a 6-man ladder match. And it was just like as good as any ladder match ever. And it was in, 4th Street Live, which is beautiful, like really cool venue. It was either that or the Jack Vaughn Tony Gunn match from a couple weeks ago. It was one or the other. And it probably was the Jack Vaughn Tony Gunn match.
My favorite part of that is Jack Vaughn just slipping and just as nonchalant as you please. Just slips out of the rig and goes backstage. He's like, I am done.
He knew that there wasn't going to be a match. I assumed that this was all part of the plan, right? Sure. All part of the plan. Now, we're in a special kind of position this week to end out this show. Because you are the focus of the last 10 minutes of this program. So I wanted to ask you, I want you to take us through You come out to cut this promo. What's going through your mind? What do you want to let OVW know? What do you want to let the Overmen know?
I don't know. I guess I just want to let EC3 know that I'm kind of grateful for his help, but I'm also like way better than him. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then I'm gonna kick his ass on the 15th. You know. I mean, I want to hear what he had to say too.
He's been using a lot of language over the last few weeks.
Yeah, he's like a fancy talker. You know?
Yeah, it seems like sometimes, and this is just outside looking in, it seems like there's an element of manipulation from him onto you sometimes. If you look at what he tells you, the way he talks to you, he says son, heir.
But I feel like that's what this whole business is in general. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like gatekeeping.
Right.
You know, that's how they do it.
Do you think
they talk to you in a way that makes you look like you're beneath them because they really know deep down inside that you're above them? You know, like, who's better wrestler, me or EC3? Who would you rather watch have a match?
You. Okay. Not just because you're sitting here.
Exactly. Does he know that? I guarantee you he does.
Wakes up every morning.
That's why I'm son. That's why I'm heir.
Right.
You know? Because I'm really master.
That's why you... This is the first time in a few weeks, too, that we saw some of your old friends, the Masked Men.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting that.
Do you have any guess? Because we know it's not.
I have no idea.
We know it's not the Overmen.
We don't know who it is. We know who it isn't, though.
Right. And for a long time, this would have been the Overmen's MO, right? Other than, I guess, the masks. You guys never had any.
But this was never.
You guys had no reason to hide your face.
And that was kind of the whole point, because the first time the men came out, you know, we came out after and we're like, "Hi, it's not us, Al."
Yeah.
You know? These are like, I don't know who this is. This, if I had a guess, I would say this is EC3's people from somewhere else.
Yeah.
NWA, Exodus Pro.
It's a little too convenient.
Something else he does somewhere else that he's trying to get into OVW, and this is how he's doing it.
Right.
You know, that's my guess.
What was it like to have someone that...
Next time they come out, I'm going to take their mask off.
I mean, you might as well.
Do it.
Yeah.
What was it like to have someone like Jesse Goddard, someone you have a long history with? What was it like to team up with him, so to speak, ipso facto, team up with him?
Very weird.
Yeah. He comes out, hits...
Well, because he's another one. You know, he's just like EC3. It's the same thing.
Why do you think he came out to help you? Do you have any guess? Is it
enemy of my enemy?
Because those people attacked him, and he finally got to see him again.
Right.
You know, so he came out to get his revenge. I just happened to be in there.
But the same thing that happened to him is kind of what's happening with you. Like yes. So there's a pattern of behavior.
Yes,
that,
but I don't think that's why he
noticing.
came out necessarily.
No.
But yes, this is becoming a pattern.
So there's not going to be anybody in the Overmen left. It's going to be EC3's one-man
There
jam
is
before
nobody
too long.
left.
Yeah,
who's left? Joe and Adam?
We're not looking good over there.
No, that's it.
Joe and Adam and a part-timer. We're not looking good over at the
player to be named later.
Hey, y'all don't forget Shannon the Dude. He's the radio champion.
And he's basically a part-timer too at this point.
The old STD. Just crawling its way through the body of OVW.
Here at the end of the show, what does it feel like? It's the NWA World's Heavyweight title. This is the biggest title
in the history of wrestling.
Ever. Yeah.
The most historic, definitely. The most storied title. Talk about storytelling. This is definitely the most storied title. 75 years of history.
And you're looking at it. You're staring down at it. He's gonna the referee is gonna walk to your corner and show it to you, present it to you before you challenge for it.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
What's going through your head right now, a couple weeks out here?
I definitely never thought that I would ever wrestle for that title. I mean, I wasn't the same type of wrestling fan as everybody else. Mm-hmm. Well, I guess I was the most common type of wrestling fan. I was a WWE fan growing up.
Sure.
So I don't know anything about that title, Mm-hmm. But as I've become a wrestler and I've become a worker, I wear robes like Ric Flair.
Right.
You think I don't care about the NWA title?
Right.
I know all about that title.
Yeah.
This is the type of wrestling that I watch. I watch people defend the NWA title on YouTube every day. That's what I do for homework. So I definitely never thought that I'd be in an opportunity to like even like touch that title.
Right.
You know, and like
Much less, take a chance on actually winning it.
and now to wrestle for it, yeah, it's pretty surreal. You know, I'm never really satisfied. You know, that's why I continue to go up because like nothing makes me happy. Like you think I'm happy with the opportunity of winning the NWA title? No, I'll only be happy if I win it, and then I want the WWE title.
Sure.
Because like that's just how I am. So, you know, I'm excited for the opportunity, and it's kind of like the way things make me happy is because I'm like, okay, this is a sign that like everything I'm doing is the right way because like I'm getting this big opportunity, biggest of my career. You know.
Right.
But to me, it's it's another match. So I mean,
It's just a Thursday night at Davis Arena.
It's not the end goal, but if I win it,
It's a step in the right direction for sure.
I'll put it over more than he will.
Absolutely. Well, and I mean, it seems very obvious even from just the couple minutes we've been talking about it here at the end of the show. The EC3, almost as soon as he won the title, made light of its history. Didn't respect its history. Didn't care about its history. It came off of, he won it from what some people are calling the worst champion to ever hold the belt.
Yeah.
You are sitting at an opportunity where you realize how much this belt means, how much it can mean, how much it should mean, and you're sitting about to challenge for it, and you are challenging a man who maybe doesn't understand.
I think he understands.
You think he understands?
I do. He knows for
Does
sure.
he look at it? Does he look at it like a? Does he look at it like he deserves it, or does he look at it like it should have just been his because of who he is? What do you think? Do you think he?
He thinks he deserves it.
Yeah.
He thinks he deserves to.
Do you think he thinks he can lose it?
No.
Okay.
I think that he's already been there, done that.
Right. This has been in the
So
past.
why
for him?
shouldn't I win it?
I don't know. I wish you the best of luck. Seriously.
Are we making stars here?
There's going to be.
Isn't that how this works?
That's how it should work.
Right?
And you're on the way. You're on the way.
Yeah.
Isn't he already a star?
That
He was
depends
in
on who you
WWE.
ask.
I mean, he's got a lot of followers on Instagram.
A lot of followers.
Well, that's true.
Started his own promotion. I mean,
Yeah.
I talk about him every
He's already over. He's the overman, right?
week. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the last one standing.
So I think it's certified time. That's how I feel about it.
I think
Brian.
you're right.
Oh, yeah.
Brian, why don't you go ahead and take us home here this week?
The OVW podcast, the 10th Carney Award nominated unofficial podcast of Ohio Valley Wrestling, is produced by Blacklight Moon Productions at Nuthouse Studios in Lexington, Kentucky. The OVW podcast broadcast team is Jack Minox and myself, Brian Hines. Our studio engineer and editor is Malachi Woodard. Executive producer is Tiny Brian K. Woodard. Senior producer for The Blimp is Victor Anderson. After watching wrestlers on Netflix, visit OVWpodcast.com/podcasters to find all our episodes of our unofficial Wrestlers After Show. Be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcast, rate us 5 stars, and give us a review. You can also follow us at OVW Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok, and
To the Davis Arena.
to the Davis Arena.
Luke, thanks for coming on this week, man. We really appreciate
Thank you
it.
so much.
No, thank
we
you
certainly
guys.
appreciate it.
And how are we gonna make this unofficial podcast the official podcast of OVW?
That's a certified question.
That
if
is
I
a
ever heard one.
certified question that we have an unofficial answer to. Thanks, guys.